Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey everybody, it's Tuesday night, time for another live Wicked Horror Show. I'm Kevin, and as always, I'm joined by Tony has 9 fingers.
What is going on, people?
I was pointing the wrong way.
Yes, you were.
And our special guest just joined us, so Tony, would you like to introduce our very special guest?
Sure. The writer and director of Dead Giveaway, we have Ian Kimble.
Yeah.
What's going on?
How's it going?
Good. How are you? Sorry I'm a couple minutes late. I am a dickhead and didn't download Chrome. And then, like, as soon as I had it on, I'm going on here, and it's like, oh, yeah, like, do you want to use your microphone? I was trying to use my phone microphone instead of, like, and I was like, this is bananas. And I'm not as tech savvy as my stupid button-up shirt would imply, so... sorry, I'm late.
That's okay. No, you're good.
No,
You're
good.
good. We just started, so I like.
Yeah, we just did the little intro and stuff, so
Yeah, killer.
You're actually right on time.
Good deal. Pumped.
Perfect. So yeah, Dead Giveaway. I just came in to telling Tony that I was 6 minutes away from finishing the movie. So
Cool.
I was really enjoying it, and I'm like, crap, I got to stop. But I'll finish it as soon as we're done. But I was at a very good point. All hell is breaking loose.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm trying to remember what happens about. It's like you're right there. That's kind of it gets pretty bananas about that point.
Things are getting figured out, and people are realizing what's real and what isn't.
Yeah.
And so it's going crazy for sure right now.
Yeah, right on.
So
I really enjoyed what I saw so far.
Cool. I hope the last 6 minutes doesn't blow it for you.
No, it won't. I'm sure it will. And Tony, I'm assuming you watched the whole thing?
I did. I got to, right after work, I came home, watched it, gave it a nice review. And
sure did.
It's definitely one of those things where it's, when I saw it, I'm like, okay, I wonder, because in the beginning it's like bloody and all that stuff. And then it started with the comedy, which I love. That's the one thing that, me and Kevin talk about, when you could take two genres and kind of just smush them together and have that, like, up and down feeling. Because it's like, especially with this one, it's like you got your dialogue and the comedy and stuff, and then all of a sudden you hit like those side pieces, and I'm like, okay, that's where the gore comes in. And I'm just like, that. I was like, oh, okay, there it is. But I love when you could take two things and just, put them together and make it work so well, which this one definitely, you hit the nail on the head for sure.
Cool, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was fun because it's like, especially when you're, because it's my first feature. And so when you're trying to like get something out into the world, it's like, you gotta, it's sort of it's a fun challenge to think about like what's going to set you apart. And like saying a horror comedy is going to set you apart isn't exactly, reinventing the wheel, because there's a lot of really wonderful ones out there, but trying to make something that like leaned into the comedy more than the horror and kind of had a bit of, I tried to be a little bit more like the movie Clue, where it's people kind of getting banged up while you're also trying to solve like kind of a bananas mystery and just throwing things at the audience from left field for no reason other than I thought it was funny, and so it's sort of, to your point, it's especially now when so many people are making so many things, which is really cool. It's like making a straight up horror movie, or making a straight up comedy, making a straight up drama is kind of, it's just a little bit harder to separate yourself from the rest of the pack. So getting to uh, mush a couple of those different things together makes it a little bit more fun.
The humor was right up my alley. It was I don't know what inspires you or what kind of humor you're into, but it was totally. And then even the choice of your lead actresses
Hmm.
were great. They like the way that the emote like like physically and everything like really like lent itself to the character very well, and
Yeah,
it sold it very.
yeah, for sure. Those two are brilliant. I mean, like both of them, and they got on like gangbusters. And it wasn't just Ruby and Michaela who were, both incredible in their own right, but the entire supporting cast, everybody that jumped in there was a lot of fun. And it's cool. Like they're good. You know, they're such good actors, and I knew it because when I write my screenplays, they're very bare, right? Like I don't put a lot of, he slowly walks to the door and with his hand shaking turns the knob, peering at. Like I don't do that. It's just he opens the door
Mhm.
and let the actor do their job. Like trust actors to make cool decisions, and so like we rehearse things and we kind of know what point we're trying to get across or whatever. But then after that, it's like I just kind of let them surprise me and surprise each other. And the way that they would deliver some lines and the banter back and forth, and how it would come out and how quickly it would come out, it was just a testament to their acting for sure. And then also just it's fun to watch when people are really good at their jobs go be good at their jobs. Made my life really easy.
Nice.
Now you mentioned Clue. Was there anything else that this idea came from? Because there was a few, different. When I'm watching it, I'm just like, you know, has that Clue was definitely one of those things. But like, Once Upon a Crime,
Yeah.
from back in the day, that was a movie that I was like, oh, okay, now it's all coming together. Where did the idea come from, and was it like a mishmash of different things?
Yeah, I mean there's like I'm a just like you guys, which it's a great stack behind you, Tony. I'm a movie nerd. Like I love movies, and I very much spoke to the cast and crew in movie references, where it's like I kind of want this shot to look like this, like in this movie where they do this, and like we would pull up scenes on our phone and be like, see how they're doing this here, like I want to do that. Um, so other I think it's hard to kind of like nail down a few movies that really inspired me that I watched for this, but I think like Barton Fink would definitely be up there. A lot of early Cohen stuff, Fargo, it's kind of got like a little bit of a Fargo vibe to it. Um, Probably more Barton Fink than Fargo, but yeah, like a lot of just, honestly, the Three Stooges. Like
Mm.
I loved watching Three Stooges, and the just kind of banging each other in the head with blenders and things was always really funny to me. Like making weapons out of stuff that's not weapons. Um, I always loved that. So that a lot of that stuff definitely inspired it. Um, but then uh, where the idea came from originally, so I made a short film version of it like a decade ago. It was only like 20 minutes long, and it didn't have a ton of the stuff in there. Um, but the idea was basically born out of limitation, right? Which is, I think, where the best, the best and most creative stuff, at least that I can come up with, comes from. Is just born from limitation. So it was like, all right, what can I do that takes place inside of one house that has just a few speaking roles, and nothing else really going on? And like, what can I do that makes that interesting and makes it funny? And it's like, all right, girl wakes up next to a dead body. Okay, that's a good start. And then from there, it's like, okay, she's got a weird roommate. All right. And her friend comes over. Okay. And like you kind of just add one or two little characters. And I think I was maybe 5 pages in. And just because of like the dark humor I've kind of come up with, it's like, all right, let's make this funny. Like let's make a dead body in bed funny and make the mystery a comedic one. And so that was the sort of the inspiration behind it. And then after the short was made, it went really well, and we had a lot of luck with it. And then over the years, just kind of developed it on and on. And it's hard. It's hard to make a movie when you don't have a rich uncle or know anybody famous, and you're from South Jersey, and you know what I mean. It just kind of makes the climb a little bit steeper. But yeah, the script was strong, and we pulled together a really great crew, and again, it's like you can, with the limited space and everything, we could put a lot more time into and a lot more money into the crew. So we had a really strong crew and really strong cast, and not spend as much and still come out with a pretty solid product. So yeah, it's a very reverse engineered process.
Well, that's one thing that we always, bring to the table on here. It's like, what when we watch movies, like as fans, we have no idea what goes behind it. So
Yeah.
it's like it's a lot more difficult. Like when we first started this thing, I thought I knew something, and then I realized that my 1% of knowledge of watching the movie is that's all I know. So much more details go into it, and just whatever. Like it's you know it's crazy how many people just think, oh, just take a camera and shoot it. It's like, well, you can, but is the result
Yeah.
you're gonna get what people want to watch kind of deal. It's like, you know, some people are just like, oh, I could do it that good. It's like, no, no, you can't.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, and I would encourage the people to try. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's great when people are, I have, the whole. I don't particularly prescribe to it, the whole notion of like everybody's got a cell phone, so everybody can make a movie nowadays. It's like, well, sure, you could hit the record button. I don't know how well you're going to make a movie, but
Hmm.
you could give it a whirl. And I'd encourage them to do that because, to your point, you learn so much. You know what I mean? The more you do it, and the more you kind of figure out, like, oh wow, like I need a sound guy that like knows how to do this, and just the the creative people. I think what my favorite thing about it, and the thing that makes me the most excited, is all of the creative people that I get to be surrounded by when we're making it, and I'm working on my next feature now. We're in early development and kind of building the crew out. And it's just like when you meet somebody who's like a great set decorator, it's like, dude, I can't decorate anything. Like I don't know how to decorate for Christmas. And these people, this dude comes in and just like based off of the script and the characters and like what costumes are they going to wear and like what color is the mug they're going to hold, and like they just create this space where suddenly everything kind of goes with everything else and everything matches, and it's incredible. um, and so it's watching craftspeople and artists do what they do is incredibly inspiring. And like ultimately, that's the magic trick, right? The magic trick is somebody watches a movie and they go, "Oh, this looks easy." Right? It's like eating a great meal where you eat it and it's delicious and you're like, "Ah, I can do this," and then
And you
you
try
figure
and you
out,
get food
and then you
poisoning. Yeah.
try, yeah, and it's too salty and overcooked or something. You're like, "Ah, man, like I needed I need to take some cooking lessons." So it's fun. I encourage people, but it's the magic trick to make it look easy.
So how many years from when you did the short, so when you did the feature, and like how quickly after you did the short did you decide that you wanted to do a feature of the of the same idea?
It was a few years. It was so the short from when we shot the short to when we shot the feature was like 8 years, I think, 8 or 9, and then I think it was exactly 10 to I. You know what? That's funny. Now that I think about it, so it was exactly 10 years, almost to the week, from when I first wrote the first page sitting in a coffee shop. Um, and like came up with the idea like we were talking about almost exactly to the week 10 years later was when we premiered it at the Philly Film Festival this past October. So like, but there was a handful of years in there, probably 3 or 4 years, where it was just a short film that I'd made. um, and I'd written some other stuff and made a bunch of other shorts and worked on a lot of other projects. um, and it was one of those ones where it was like, I bet like I could think of some other funny things. And because what I didn't want to do was make the period of time any longer, right? Like that 20-minute short film is still from when she wakes up to when they go get brunch. And like this movie is the exact same period of time. It's just like, how much more stuff can I shove in there to just make it more bonkers? And that's where, a lot of other characters got added in, and other scenarios, things that they find along the way, like other stuff gets tossed in there. So yeah, it was a good period of time, but it was sort of a fun exercise too, to like make it exciting without making it feel like it's dragging on. Like I didn't want to take a good idea and feel like it was overstuffed with just like putting more dialogue in. It's like, well, no, somebody's got to show up and somebody's got to get hit with something and somebody's got to get cut apart. So
I'm all for dialogue as long as it's good. And this one
yeah.
had me, there was a few that had me like laughing out loud. I'm like, okay, you know,
Oh,
they
cool.
went with it. You went with it. And
Well, it could have been that they were also improving as well.
it's just like, okay, like I think I'm back. I lost
You're back.
connection
Yeah, you
for a
are.
little
Yeah.
bit. Okay, but I don't want to give anything away, but the one bedroom scene where they're talking about, you know, what happened in the bed. I was like,
Oh
Yeah.
oh,
yes,
okay, yeah, that
memory
that
foam.
went there. Yep, memory
Yeah.
foam.
Yeah,
But
there's actually there's almost no improv in it.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's pretty much the script. Every once in a while, like if we would talk about it, and like if a line, I don't know, if a line was like, "That's stupid," and one of the actors was like, "I don't want to say, like, I would rather say, you're ridiculous or something." And like, they would change stuff in there, but pretty much, pretty much what they said is what's on the page. So but like, it's a testament to their delivery, right? It's like what we were
mm,
talking about. They were just so natural with one another that it felt like, because it's funny you say that. I've had in almost every thing that we did, people were like, "Oh, how much did they improv?" It felt like they improved a lot. I'm like, almost none. Like they
That's awesome.
practically, yeah. The one dude, I'll tell you, the one character who didn't have a single line and improved all of them was uh, the my actor and producer Andrew Vogel. Um, he plays Tom. Poor
mm,
dead Tom.
Hmm.
Um, when we do hit, like, he didn't have any dialogue in the script at all, and we were kind of hanging out, and it wasn't until like we knew he was playing the part for some time, but it wasn't until like we were shooting. I remember being in the basement where we had a basement of the house where like the wardrobe and props and stuff were set up. He was getting dressed and he was like, "Hey man, I kind of wrote some stuff. Like, can I say, like, can we go over it?" And I was like, "Yeah, you don't have to tell me. Just say whatever you want." And he was like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, get weird. Go ahead." And so like the bar scene when there's the one
The bad
scene when he's in
prostate
the,
joke.
yeah, dude. And he does this joke where, what is it? The uh, how does the joke? And it wasn't even the joke that got me. I'm like crunched up under a table, like looking at a monitor or whatever nearby them. And he's acting drunk and he says, "Hey, do you want to hear some magic?"
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
At them. And I cackle laughed. It's like, that's the most ridiculous thing I've heard somebody say out loud. And it was hilarious. And so like so as far as improv goes, credit where credit's due. He made up every one of his lines and they
That's
are
funny.
brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, did I hear him say that? Do you want to
Yeah.
do some magic? And then it was just followed by a bad like dad joke.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, what are your comic influences? Because we like it was right on like we probably have a lot of similar comic influences, like growing up, I would think.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the Looney Tunes, the Three Stooges. I think that like those old those old things were always really, really fun and funny to me. But then, like, I was, so I have two older sisters, and they were kind of modeled after Jill and Leah, or rather, Jill and Leah. The characters are modeled after my two older sisters, and like how they banter and how they ramble at me and things, and like how we kind of snap back and forth. Like I come from a very funny family
That's
of
awesome.
people that just dark humor and very fast, very quick-witted people, very ball busting, which was always cool. And but the two of them got me way into horror movies when I was like entirely too young to watch them, right? But it was cool because like to them and to me it was like it was never scary. Like they were never trying to make me feel afraid. They were more so just like it was like fun. You know what I mean? They were like, this is pretend and it's fun and that's ketchup. It's not blood and like people are playing games and it's just a dude in a mask. And so like as far as like the comedy goes, I don't know if you guys have seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Hmm.
That movie's hilarious. I love that movie. And so like a lot of just the madness of how they do things in there is really great. But then like it's like I think that especially because of the movies that I saw that made me know that movies could exist. I mean, Reservoir Dogs and Clerks, especially Clerks, where it's just like kind of being woken up to the fact that like, oh, two dudes behind a counter can just banter at each other and it's funny, and kind of taking a long time to flex that muscle and trying to recreate the same thing where it's just, two girls sitting across from a table at one another and letting them riff, letting them go. Yeah. So, yeah.
So going from my bad,
No,
going
you're
from
good. You're good.
a 20-minute short, and you said a little hard to get not having a ritual and stuff. Going from that to getting some like heavy hitters in your movie, from like Scout is another one that is heavy into the horror genres, from like
Yeah.
Rob Zombie Halloween and stuff. But then the two newer from Ruby from the Happy Death Day movies and stuff.
Mhm.
Like, how'd you pull that off, getting them in the film?
Yeah. I mean, I think it was just, it, I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn too much, but like the script really got him because like, and Mikaela too. Mikaela, her work that she did, especially in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, like the mocap work she's done, she's an incredibly brilliant physical actor and like understands that stuff. And Mikaela, believe it or not, is like the biggest horror fan you could possibly imagine. Like she loves horror. We would sit the first time we spoke, when we first met, she really loved the script. She wasn't going to do it. She had just wrapped doing Superman and was going to fly home because it was her birthday, and she was going to fly home to Seattle, and her manager like forced her to read this script, and she was like, I don't want to, like I just got done, I want to go home. And her manager was like, "You got to read this. Like, you just have to. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun." And she read it and loved it. And we spoke, and I think we probably talked to each other for like an hour just about horror movies. Like, we didn't even touch on Dead Giveaway. She was just like, "I like your script." I was like, "That's great." And we just started firing off movies back and forth to one another and how much we like it. So, yeah. And then Ruby doing Happy Death Day, and she has, and Shameless, like, she's just got such a great penchant for the genre, and such incredible experience. And like, yeah, and Scout's a killer. She's amazing, and I love her. And she's just an extraordinary professional, and so good at what she does. And so all of them, it was just kind of like, they were people that I liked and wanted, and really wanted them to be a part of it. And they read the script and really enjoyed it. And after we kind of talked to each other and we realized we vibed with one another, again, we have the same kind of humor with one another. Like, the set was very funny. Like, it was very, very cool on set because it was this very dry sense of humor the whole time. Like, everybody was just kind of like jabbing at each other always, and like in a playful way, in a fun way. And like, it helped that we weren't working insane hours. It wasn't like a lot of overtime. It was hot. It was, because we shot in like August, I think, July or August. And so you have to have the air conditioner off for sound, and we were in the middle of a heat wave, and it was like 90 something degrees every day. And so it was very, very hot in the house. And we had to install like little portable air conditioning units in every window, just to kind of like keep certain rooms, like the hair and makeup room, cool. But yeah, it was very cool having them be a part of the movie, because it was just, they're these incredible names, and very talented and very skilled and very obviously popular people. And then they show up and they're just people. They're just hanging out, and we got to celebrate Ruby's birthday while she was there. And again, Mikaela had her birthday with us, and we had cake. And one day, we got an ice cream truck to show up, and it was just like, they're just, it was just cool. It was honestly just a good time to hang out with them and watch very skilled and very talented people do what they do. It made my job easy. I just kind of stayed out of the way.
That's awesome. Where did you end up where did you film?
The house was in Camden. We shot all in New Jersey, except for the very, very, very end, which you'll see in about 6 minutes. But everything else was shot in Jersey. We shot the majority of it right in Camden, just outside of Philly, which the city was really lovely to us, and helped us out a lot. And then
Camden, as in like, used to be the murder capital of the country.
Yeah,
Camden.
Yeah.
I have some stories about Camden. They're not good. None of them.
Yeah,
are good.
no.
These are all from like late 90s.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's we kind of always get that reaction. Everybody's always like, "Oh, Camden?" It's like, yeah. But no, they were really sweet to us. They were very cool about permits and parking and helping us out, and like the people in the neighborhood were really cool. And so it was very cool to shoot there. And then a lot of the outside stuff that's supposed to look like Philly or city streets, we shot that in Haddonfield, New Jersey, which is this really lovely town. And again, like, filled with just super cool people that were just really excited for what we were doing. 'Cause it was cool. Like, we were going there, and I don't want to sell them out, in case somebody else is going to go shoot there. But we went and we were like, "Hey, we don't have a lot of money. Like, can we still do it?" And they were like, "Hey," and just kind of like shoved us along and let us go do our thing. So it was rad. It was a lot of fun to work there. And like, the communities were great. Haddonfield was amazing. Between Wild Feather Distilling and the brewery there, like, they just kind of let us take over their spaces and do whatever we wanted. So we were very fortunate. It was cool to keep it local and have a good hometown feel.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
we are at the halfway point, and I do want Sergio was in the chat. First off, he says hi.
Oh, hi,
What's up,
Sergio.
Serge? And he always asks if we have a trailer. We don't have a trailer, but we do have a scene from the movie because the
Yes.
trailer has not been it's not been approved yet by distribution. Also, John, was it Moynihan? Yeah, something like that. Is it saying, "Hey everyone, how are things going on the Facebook side? Everything's going grand. Thanks for asking." But
Yeah, dude. Super
we're
good.
gonna watch this scene from Dead Giveaway. When is it being released to the masses?
So that I can say summer. I can't give you anything too specific. We got to wait for the ink to dry, but
Okay.
summer.
So be on the lookout for it. It's a really good time. That being said, I've seen all of it, but the last 6 minutes. But I really enjoyed what I've seen. Tony really enjoyed it, and I can't imagine it's going to change anything in the last 6 minutes. If anything, it'll probably make me like it even more. But here is a scene from Dead Giveaway, and we'll be right back.
Lift the sheet.
Ew, no, you do it.
I don't want to.
Yeah, well, bummer.
I'm not lifting the sheet.
Lift the sheet!
Oh, ew, 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 ew.
Holy shit, dude.
Oh, it's bad. It's really bad.
You're dangerous.
No, I'm not. I'm really nice.
Nice in that Eileen Warnos kind of way.
Oh my God.
Look at that. You do keep knives under your pillow.
What? This is my good kitchen knife.
At least you used your good one.
But how did it get up here?
You brought it up here?
Why would I bring my kitchen knife up here?
To stab a guy.
Can I say something? I'm surprised I made out with him.
You remember making out with him?
I really don't. I really don't. I remember making out with somebody, but not him. I feel like I would recognize him.
Might be kind of hard with all the knife wounds.
There's just something about him. He's not really my type.
Yeah, standards get loose when you're drunk.
There you go. So be on the lookout for Dead Giveaway this summer. Hopefully on many streaming services or hopefully physical media.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
Because I can
physical
just
important.
imagine the bloopers and stuff that were, entail with that one.
Yeah, the reel is long. It's a lot of fun. There's definitely a lot of laughs on set. It was pretty nuts.
Because I could just imagine those, not to give anything away, like cutaways.
Yeah,
I could just imagine those kind of going crazy.
yeah. Those were a lot. I mean, it was just a lot. It was a lot of really funny stuff that we kind of did across the board. And again, like the dialogue, the banter was it was a lot of times, believe it or not, we would get the crew would kind of be in the background and you'd hear them cackle at something and it was like, oh, like we have to redo that take now, but it was funny, really, it's a funny one that it's gonna, I would hope that it's on the boot. I think we were rolling and I think that's why I remember it so well, but we had the monitor downstairs in the house in the living room, so a bunch of crew were around and stuff, and we were shooting one of those scenes, one of the cutaways you're referring to in the bathroom, which are a bit messy. And speaking of horror movie, I don't know if it counts as a horror, but I guess it is. The girls were dressed, I don't know if you noticed, they're dressed like the Droogs from Clockwork Orange. I was talking to my costumer.
Yeah.
I was like, can you put them in all white and big black boots and give them suspenders? She was like, fuck. She was like, they're Droogs. I was like, yes. I was like, let's do that. So that was a lot of fun. But Yeah, we so the camera is looking at it, and we're trying to figure out where to put this severed arm, right? And it's on the toilet, and I didn't know people were watching the monitor downstairs, and so it's kind of like I'm looking at like the camera, and I'm kind of turning the arm a little bit, and then I hear downstairs people going, "No, no, no, no," and I keep going around, and then and it's just like all of a sudden this, yeah, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess that's where the arm lives now."
Right.
And it looked, I mean, they were right. It looked great, but yeah, it was just this very, very fun community vibe. You know what I mean? It was cool to just sit around, especially like meal times, sit around outside and all eat together and hang out. It was cool.
Yeah, because throughout the movie, like you're laughing the whole time, and then those cutaways or whatever, it's just like, oh, okay, now I'm gonna get hit in the face with just a
Yeah.
whole bunch of blood, and it's just like, oh, okay, well, there it is.
Yeah.
So, like, with that, did you have your own team for the special effects as well?
Oh my God. Yeah. So Izzy Isel was our VFX, our lead VFX person. She's unbelievable. Was, it was cool. Like, cause talk about going from like, short films and more amateur stuff to going to, this sort of, I guess minor leagues of making movies. Uh, it was so nuts because like we used to make blood with like, I don't know, some corn syrup and dye or, strawberry syrup mixed with chocolate syrup, and you try to get a good red and hope for the best. And like then people are getting like stuck to things because it's gross. She came to me and was like, she had like 5 different types of blood that was like, this one's good for clothes, this one's good for walls, this one shows up good on skin, this one is edible, like, this one you can get in your hair and it's no big. And like she had all of them, and like they were different like consistencies and viscosities and different, like slightly different shades, but they all kind of work together. And so having her around was amazing. And then watching what the rest of the team did, like there's a couple of especially towards the end, there's a couple of very, very, big moments of big special effects things happening. And watching them kind of like rig things up, like, which is an insane thing. Like these brilliant artists who were like engineering these things that will just fire blood all over the place. And like kind of like if we hit this button, then like this will explode and that'll fire off that way at the same time. So like we have to kind of time, and like watching them do it, I was just like, this is bananas. Like just incredibly creative on a different level. And just very, very fun to watch. So like, yeah, the art team, the VFX, yeah, Izzy doing the blood effects, and Marina Oni was our prop person, and they're just a wizard at everything they put together. Uh, it was just, yeah, it was cool watching. It was cool watching them get excited about it. You know what I mean? Like we'd be shooting something, and I'd be inside setting up a shot or whatever, and like somebody would come grab me and be like, "You got to come see this." And I'd go outside, and like all of a sudden, here's a chair on a skateboard that like somebody's rolling down the street in, and I'm like, "Oh, cool," or like there's uh, you know, they're a dummy. There's a mannequin, and they have like plastic wrap everywhere. And they're like, "Watch this!" And they hit a button, and blood flies everywhere. I'm like, "Ah, sick!" And then like run back in to go do the thing. So it's yeah, it was cool. It's cool to watch special effects people and all people. It's cool to watch just the artists in general do what they do, because it's not just you know, it's easy. Easy. That's a relative term, but it's easy to kind of recognize and shout out art departments in a good horror movie, or good, especially when any, because this isn't even an according to Hoyle horror movie, but it's got those elements in it for sure. It's got a lot of that special effects stuff in there, and when you have an art department that can pull that off, that's really extraordinary. And the thing that kind of gets almost forgotten about or overlooked is like the camera department and like the lighting that they did, because I'm sure you noticed like all the flashback sequences are these like purples and pinks. It's just really, and none of that's in post. Like the camera department, and like the lighting guys, the lighting crew, like they did that on the day. Like they made things look that, and of course you boost colors and stuff in the end, but they were making these just incredible colors, and especially like the nighttime stuff when we were outside, they were going into businesses and like changing out their light bulbs so there would be different colors. So like the whole street would have like a really unique look to it. It's fascinating, and that's the stuff that it's just what we were talking about way before, where when you're working with people that are this good at it, they just suddenly make things look easy, and you watch it in the end and you're like, that looks amazing. And it took an hour for them to make it look like that, or, even longer. It was, yeah. So it's, yeah, I gush about the crew all the time because they are always the unseen heroes behind things.
Well, it's amazing, like how like it can make or break a movie. Like you sit there and be like, the story's amazing, but all these other things kind of fell to the side, and like it doesn't. It can, it can break a movie if it's not done correctly.
Yeah, for sure. And it just doesn't. I mean, if it's not done at all, then it just, you can tell. You know what I mean? You're looking at it and you're like, they, to your point, like it's a good script, it's a good story, it's a good acting, good performance or whatever. But then when you add those other elements in of incredible camera departments and incredible lighting designers and incredible cinematography, as well as incredible art departments and things, and like these people who are just extraordinary at what they do, when you kind of throw all of those things into one big pile, it suddenly, like, it just elevates the movie a little bit more.
Yeah, because if it's you can almost take you out of it if it's not done well.
Yeah,
and it's it adds to someone who's doing the job well just adds to the whole experience, and it's more noticed. Like, I don't know, I liked everything I saw about the movie. So
nice, thanks.
Every bit of it, except for the last 6 minutes.
Yeah,
which I'm going to watch as soon as we're done. By the way, I'm watching that before I go to bed.
Yeah, it's sick.
But I'm sorry, Tony, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say, look at your like mainstream movies. That's what they rely on, is their like visuals. Some of it's just like repetitive stuff where it's like, okay, I've seen this 100 times, but hey, look, I'm doing this, and explosions here. So the visuals sometimes make it. But this, when people are like, oh, I'm tired, it's like, go to the like indie, go to like the stuff, because then you get a little bit of both. You know, you get your good plots and everything, and then the good, especially like the goods like Dead Giveaway, where you get the awesome dialogue and stuff, and then the visuals to go with it. It's like that's where you need to go, because sometimes with the big string stuff, it's just like they rely too heavily. It's like, let's just repost one like 500 movies that have the same plot, but let's just try to up the ante with the visuals. It's like, I got enough with the visuals. I need a little bit of.
You're not jaded. You're not jaded at all, Tony.
Hmm?
You're not jaded at all, Tony. I'm just kidding. You are. No, but I get it.
No, but it's true, because it's to your point, it's also cool to work within limitation. Like I was always a big fan, which I'm sure you saw some shots in this that kind of called it out. I was always a big fan of like the old film noir movies, from the 40s and the 50s. Like they're so extraordinary. And the reason that I like them so much is because like they were made without any money. Like they were the throwaway cop movies that got made. So the super cool noir lighting that you see was because they only had one light. Like they didn't have enough to like well light a scene, and so they would just kind of have one light and make a cool shadowy figure, and they were like, all right, sure, like that works. And like they designed a whole style based off of that. So I think having those limitations, having a lot of things that it's like, because for us, as much as I love this movie and as proud as I am of it, like we didn't have a lot of money, we certainly didn't have a lot of time. Like we shot this whole thing in 14 days,
Oh,
which
wow.
is, yeah, it's ridiculous in terms of like shooting a feature. But and we did it without, like, I'm not someone who likes to work overtime. I hate it. So we did it without any overtime days. I think we had one day that hit like 13 and a half hours. And other than that, we were always under 12, and we always made our days. And like, and we were working with limitation of like not a ton of money. And even these crews that I'm gushing about so much, it's like we had one wardrobe person and one prop person and one set decorator. And like they would work together and help one another, but at the same time, like we didn't have these massive teams. And so like, Tony, to your point, sometimes these huge budget movies will rely on these ginormous things, and that's cool. But if I think that really wonderful things can be found in the more indie movies, because it's people working with limitation. It's people working with like not as much. And so you have to have a strong script. You have to have a strong cast. You have to, like, if these are the lights we have, how do we make the most out of them and really try to do what you can?
Yeah,
So,
we've said it a lot of times that's most of the heart is in the independent films.
Yeah.
It's like I think the pandemic kind of brought that to the forefront. Where it's like there's a lot of really good indie film out there, and people just don't know where to find it sometimes. But just keep looking, because there's a lot of really great stuff, and it's sometimes it
And
gets
it's good
buried, but
it's good to support that stuff, because those are the people, like the thing that makes me the most happy is getting to make these movies, because I get to hire a bunch of my friends who are really extraordinary artists, and they get to, do what they love and get paid to do it. And, it's not, I can't pay them much, but we pay them pretty good rates. And I'm proud of that. Like, I'm proud of being able to say that, like, part of making this stuff is you're not just supporting the guy like me who's the director who gets to wave. You're supporting all of the people that their names scroll across that thing at the end of the day, and all of those people get to practice their craft and pay their bills doing it, which is pretty sick. You know what I mean? Like that's a cool thing. And so a lot of big budget Hollywood, they're all getting paid just fine. So I try to encourage people. I'm like, if once a month, just like once a month, if you're not super into, if you're not, not like a movie head like the three of us are, if once a month, just like go find a cheap indie movie and watch it and support it. Or like next time, whatever town you're in, every town has a film festival these days. Next time it's in town, go watch a few of them and go, high five one of the people that made something, even if it's not up to the standards of what you would see in, massive budget Hollywood. Like these are the people that are trying to make those ones, so go, I feel like once a month is a good goal for people.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's usually what I watch is indie film. Like nowadays, it's just like Shudder for horror movies and stuff, where it's just like, so many people they worry, or not worry, but complain about cookie cutter movies, where it's like, how many times are we going to see the same thing? It's like you're going for it. It's like it's not like they put it out, okay, but you're the one going to see the movies. Look for something different. It's like the mass amount of movies out there. Just do a little research. It's not that difficult.
I think, what was it? IMDb has it at like, there's something like 50,000 movies made a year.
Oof.
And it's like, I mean, there's a lot of shorts in there and a lot of, obviously an insane amount of foreign films that unfortunately a lot of us never really get to hear about. But like in that pile, there are, like you're saying, there's a lot of really cool indie movies, and there's cool comedies and cool horrors and cool dramas and cool rom-coms or whatever people are into. Like you can find something that's made by people who aren't on the A-list level and like are, trying to make it, and like, and are frankly making really interesting shit.
I
Yeah.
mean, look at A24. A24 is like Lionsgate's like independent, and there's some movies that are winning awards and all that stuff, and they're technically, if you want to call it, independent film. And it's
Yeah.
just like, how many awesome A24 movies do you see all the time? And it's just like, they're out there,
Yeah.
and with the we bring it up a lot, but you know Terrifiers of the world and stuff, where it's now like, okay, that there was a small little noise over here, but now it's getting louder and louder and louder. But I think, especially like the horror scene on Instagram and TikTok, I think they're definitely blowing the whistle for independent horror, whatever you want to call it. So
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. There's a wonderful community out there, and like, and we've been, as much as this is, like we've been saying, it's a very comedy leaning mystery slash horror. Like we've been really embraced by the horror community, which is awesome. It's been lovely because they're the best. I mean, horror fans show up, and
Yeah.
it's really cool that they do. And they are the ones that, more often than not, they are the ones that are cheering on the low budget and no budget independent cinema that's
Yeah.
happening out there. So yeah,
They're the ones who are going
love
to buy the physical copies. They're the ones
Yeah.
that are gonna, like, if you go do conventions, they're the ones that are going to be at your booth buying
Yeah.
autographs and stuff like that. So
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
the next movie that you're working on, the one that you're in pre-production,
Mhm.
is that horror as well, or is it straight comedy, or is it different genre
No,
altogether?
it's I'm trying to think about what I can say about it. It's a lot. It's like a crime. It's like crime, dark comedy, crime. So, uh, like very, very Guy Ritchie.
Okay,
The good Guy Ritchie. Um,
old Guy
uh,
Ritchie.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But so it's kind of like that. It's a fun little crime, dark comedy crime movie.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's got its moments in there for sure, but
Nice.
it's little less like silly bantery than Dead Giveaway, but a lot more of a caper. So
I like those kind of movies as well. So
yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I'll be down for it.
Cool.
So we do have to wrap things up. So where can people follow you for more information and even some info, like for when the movie comes out on digital or for purchase?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. De- Following me on Instagram, I'm at Ian or whatever. Um, and Dead Giveaway, you can follow the movie pages at Dead Giveaway Movie, I think, on Instagram. That's where the majority of the news will come out. So, and it's going to come very soon for anybody.
Nice.
I know that this is going live on Thursday. So,
Yeah, well,
uh,
it's technically live right now,
live now, but I'm sorry,
but yeah, the audio side is going to be
the
out
catchers.
on Thursday.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
very soon.
But yeah. So very, very soon there's going to be news about exact release information. It's
Awesome.
very exciting. Yeah.
Nice. Tony, what about yourself?
you can follow me on Tony Has Nine Fingers on YouTube. I haven't done a video in forever, but I got enough backlog where you can check out where I do movie reviews, show off the collection and stuff like that. Tony Has Nine Fingers on X, which I have but I don't use. Tony Has Nine Fingers on TikTok, which is my fastest growing social media. You find me there mostly where I, show off the collection, the reviews, talk movies. You'll see me there a lot. Tony's Movies on Instagram, where I show off the movies behind me, and of course here on the Wicked Horror Show, most Tuesdays, whether we have awesome guests or it's just horror movie chit chat, you can find us here. We always tell you to come join the live Tuesday nights so you can ask questions, watch trailers or scenes. So instead of just hearing it, you can actually watch it. But we appreciate everybody coming to watch or listen. We appreciate it. So, Kevin.
Just a knuckle on Instagram, and like Tony said, watch us live on Tuesday nights, or listen to us on Thursdays or whenever.
Or you could do both. So
yeah, you could do both. That'd be nice.
If you miss something on Tuesday, you can
exactly
listen to it
But thank you very much, Ian, for coming on, and thanks for making such a cool movie. And
man,
looking forward to I'm looking forward to that last 6 minutes. And
yeah.
I'm also looking forward to adding it to the collection as well. And
yeah, you'll get the skateboard thing I mentioned earlier pretty soon.
Okay, all right, cool.
But yeah, this was awesome. This flew by. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
No problem. Thanks again, and have a good night, everybody. We'll see.